Yo, what's up? Let's roll. The Wicked Wednesday has begun. The Pips, the players, the hustlers, the patrons, everybody else in between. It's Sports Rage Premium, episode 45. And I'm pretty sure it actually is 45. Although, you know, even The Simpsons fucked it up. Little piece of Simpsons trivia. They actually fucked up their entire episodes is actually off by like 1 or 2 or something. I don't remember the reason why. I don't know, man. They screwed up the count on one of them somehow. And another time, I don't know, one of them didn't air or something. Something happened. I don't know if there was a hurricane or something happened and it didn't air once. I don't know. But I remember I saw something about they were talking about it's the 500th episode. And Buddy said it's really like the 503rd episode. But he said, you know, we fucked up. And as we saw today with Bob and Corey, we fucked up. We couldn't even count to 5. Pretty sad. Fuck. I asked Michelle to fucking keep score, but she just did, you know, she doesn't care. So she didn't keep score. What's up, Riggs? What's up, Shadow? What's up, Bruce Chad, Vegas Gun? Vegas representing. What's up, Frank? So yeah, we're moving in on episode. We'll have, so I was thinking about it. I was like, damn, it's too bad like it wouldn't have been on Saturday. What's up, Sinbad? Tomorrow, the morning after is like peak stuff, but you got to tune in tomorrow. Yeah, between Michelle Bones and the only one that kept the score properly was the chief of staff. I fell for it too. Corey's like, yeah, it's 2-2 and whatever. It was pretty funny though. It was good. It was good radio. So tomorrow will be an interesting show. It's going to be all over the place. Every day is interesting, but shit's fucking crazy, man. It's a crazy fucking business. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. Been a crazy couple of days. Every fucking like, man, I forgot to. I got fucking calls to fucking make back. I got to make late night calls tonight. It's fucking shit. The wheels never end, but the wheels keep spinning. But good news is Cam is back. I was a little concerned about Cam, but Cam's a trooper. I know Cam so well, though, don't I? I told you guys. Cam said he had strep throat. Yeah, listen, we're redoing it on Friday, unfortunately. I'm sorry to expose everybody to it again, but we're redoing it on Friday. And this time I'm going to ask the questions. Well, I asked the questions, but Jim Day prepared the questions. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I thought they were all pretty easy, to be honest. Like, come on, who won Super Bowl I? Who won Super Bowl I? Come on. Who was the losing coach in Super Bowl I? That's not overly easy. How many people you guys know that? I know Larry does. Don't say the name. I know Larry would. Yeah, so, you know, Hank Stram, I wouldn't have known the longest punt return in history. There was like one, man, Corey got one question. It was like, come on, man. What quarterback's been in the most fucking Super Bowls? Fuck. It's like fucking Tom Brady, for fuck's sakes. The guy's playing this week. You know what I mean? Like, that question was over the top too easy for him. Like, I just read him blindly, kind of. I don't have time to go over everything. Jim Day told me, listen, I've got a bunch of questions that I'm doing at a Super Bowl party. He goes, I already have it made, so, you know, I'll save you some time. I said, oh, thanks, Jim. So I looked at questions. I'm like, yeah, they're standard soon, all right? They were good questions, but they could have been a little harder or at least just, you know, different. Yeah, I don't, you know, it's debatable. I actually feel for Corey in the sense that Corey didn't know, you know, I mean, Corey kind of got screwed over, in which, oh, Bob wins. I'd have a gripe if I was Corey. But Corey got a really easy question, and it's on me as well. I gave Bob a chance to answer a fucking question after. But the thing is, the chief of staff, Alex, said, I didn't count the answer. I said, no, we're not counting it, though. So it was a little bit of a shit show, but that's what it makes it, right? It's supposed to be a shit show. So, like, it wouldn't be, if it was organized, it wouldn't be my show, right? Like, it's supposed to, like, every year, it's always like that. All right, there's controversy. We got to do it again. Bob is insane, though. Yeah, Bob is insane. Like, Bob called in later and got into it with Corey again, like, over the top. Like, fucking Bob's crazy. The only thing is, I'm too good at this stuff, so I've stirred the pot up so much, and now too many people come after Corey. So even me, I'm like, all right, I got to back him off a bit. Fuck. You know, like, you know, it's like Vince McMahon. You know, when I'm alone, it's not really like that, right? But that show, you know, it's supposed to be a morning circus a bit. It's a sports show, but it's also supposed to be sort of a circus. So I'm just kind of like Vince McMahon, right? I'm like, all right, fuck, let's just go with this. You know, it's all supposed to be entertainment, get people through the 3 hours. Oh yeah, Bones hates me. The thing is, he's got very thin skin. He's got thin skin. It's funny though, because before he told me, he goes, "Oh, it's all good. I can take it. I work with Craig Carton, and it's only taken like a couple of months, and he's worn out basically." That's the thing that those guys don't get. That it's very sort of like when we were on Sirius, like with Cohen and Orville and shit. Once this sports train sort of gets going, it's like it's relentless. So it's like daily. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very consistent. So Bones might think that, you know what I mean? Like, because before the show, it's not like I'm confrontational with Bones. The show starts and I'm fine, but then boom, about a minute in, I realize, all right, fuck, it's time to go. Then bam. It's the same thing like when I was on OTR all the time. Like, you could sit there and just talk, or you could just cut people off and start fucking yelling at everybody. And it's more entertaining if you just cut everyone off and start yelling at everybody. This shit's not rocket science. The only thing is, you can't just cut people off and start yelling at them. You need to be able to back it up. That's the thing. If you just start yelling, you're going to run out of shit. Like, you need to be able to, like, really, like, you know, back it up. Yeah, everyone has thick skin. I've actually ran a few people out of town, last week. There was one dude that consistently was fucking chirping me in the chat. I didn't really care, to be honest. You know, I saw him once. He was like, "Oh, I don't like Morency," and so I don't, whatever. Like, it's not North Korea, so I'm not gonna kick somebody out. I didn't kick the guy out either in the chat, but you know, he chirped a bunch of times. He always like rips the Raptors to try to get, you know, upset me and shit. But once I saw, he said, "Oh, this show sucks now. I don't know why I listen anymore." So I fucking told him to chat. I said, "Nobody will fucking miss you if you fucking leave, fuckface." And I said, "Nobody besides Corey, because he's a Corey fan." Michelle hates this guy too. No, the Jitter guy's an idiot. Fuck. Jitter is an idiot. I actually blocked him, so I don't see his comments. Fuck. I tell them to kick Jitter up. They don't listen though, right? They don't follow the chat and shit, those guys. So it was the Leslie Bell guy. And then there was another dude too. He didn't like what I said about Mariano Rivera. You know, they were all saying Mariano Rivera is the greatest of all time. I said, I wasn't disputing it. I said, I personally think Mariano Rivera is the greatest closer of all time. But I said it'd be, you know, what kind of numbers would he have put up if he had to pitch 3 innings? I said it was a different era with the other guys. Like I said, I just brought up how good Dennis Eckersley was. And right away, you know, I got shot down. It's because New York, right? How dare you? How dare you? And I said, I'm not insulting fucking Rivera. I'm just stating that the old relievers, Lee Smith pitched 3 innings. You know, didn't pitch 1 inning with a fucking 3-run lead. Like these guys pitched in, like, you know, it was different. Like it was just different. So some dude in the chat started freaking out and told me to go back to Canada and stick to hockey and shit. So in the chat, I fucking told him to go fuck himself. And he hasn't been around anymore. There you go. What are you going to do? So, yeah, as I was saying about Cam. So Cam missed the show on Monday because supposedly he had strep throat. And I told him, what did I say on the air? I said, he doesn't have strep throat. Because he said, he had a sore throat. And that's how you know people are full of it. If someone tells you they have a sore throat and they have strep throat, like strep throat has nothing to do with the throat. Like strep throat's actually not throat. Like I said before, I had that before. It's terrible, fuck. Like it really is bad. It's really like a really, really, really bad sort of, I don't know, man. It's hard to describe, fuck. Like you said, you have a wicked fever and shit, but you have the chills. And you're very sick. Like, I don't know, man. It's like, it feels like you have malaria or something. Like, it's not good. You're sweating like a motherfucker. Like, it's a weird shit. Like I said, it's not the type of thing that just goes away on its own. Like, you need antibiotics and stuff. Like, I was messed up, man, for a few days. Fuck, I had strep throat. And the hospital in Vancouver was useless. Fuck. Basically, unless you're fucking a junkie, OD'd, or you got shot, they don't really care. So that's the thing with the healthcare system in Canada. It's good. It's not terrible, but it's not great either, right? It's, you know, it really isn't. It's actually pretty bad. Like, let's be real. Like, the more I think about it, I'm gonna get mad, but it's actually pretty bad. If you go into a Canadian hospital, you're basically gonna die. Like I hate to put it that way, but that's the gist of it. You go to the hospital and you're not coming out. Like that's the product. I don't want to get into the healthcare debate, but that's the problem with the system. Like Canada's healthcare system used to be like a jewel of the world. But now there's like fucking nearly 40 million people and shit. It's too big of a system to handle. There's not enough nurses. There's not enough doctors. Like there's not enough people. Like that's the problem with Canada. Like even like the cities themselves, like Toronto wasn't built for fucking 9 million people. It's going to be 10 million people there soon. Like Toronto's not as big as New York. You know, like that's why like the traffic is worse in Toronto than it is anywhere in North America. There's too many fucking people. Like Montreal's like that now. Like Montreal is a small city actually. Like the island of Montreal is not that big. And like they're cramming people in there now. And like when you cram that many people, well, hey, you know, it also means these people are going to get fucking sick at some point in time. They're going to end up in a fucking hospital, and you have the same hospital. You never made a bigger hospital. You got the same hospital like as before. I'm just speaking out of my own personal look. For me, the health system in Canada has been good for me personally. You know, I had surgery before. They told me, oh, it'll be 4 months, but I went to the emergency room like 3 times in 2 weeks. And finally, like some head doctor said, this guy can't wait, fucking. And I got the surgery. The healthcare system was very good for my mother. So like, I'm kind of conflicted, but like I said, it's emotional stuff to talk about. But like I said, the healthcare system was very good for my mother. Like they added years to my mother's life. Like my mother should have died earlier than she did. They were also very good to my father. I hate to say it, but it was my father's base. My father could have lived longer, but he chose not to, essentially. He made his own decisions on the way out. My ex-girlfriend, the healthcare system let down. My grandmother let down. Like my grandmother got fucking sicker like by the day in the hospital. She basically fell on the ice in the snow one day walking her dog. And next thing you know, she's got like fucking difficile C and fucking infections, this and that. And like, she never left. Like, that's the thing. No, listen, like there's healthcare everywhere in the world, right? So America's a little backwards with that. There's healthcare everywhere in the world, essentially, almost. You know what I mean? Like Australia, United Kingdom, Sweden, Norway, fucking Canada. You go down the list of, successful countries. But none of those countries have 350 million fucking people, right? Like the United States is bigger than Canada, but the hospitals aren't bigger, guys. It's the same thing. There's only a certain amount of ambulances here. And another thing is, people don't get fucking shot at the rate as they do in Canada. There's like 300 people a day that get shot in this country. Fuck. Like the hospitals, there'll be lineups around the street. There'll be lineups around the street. Even in Canada, Toronto's a major city, like New York. Toronto, listen, you go to an emergency room in Toronto, it's a fucking shit show, man, at nighttime. I was there. One of the doctors told me, he goes, because I even said, this lady's been here before me. And he told me after, he goes, this lady's just lonely. He goes, this lady's lonely and likes the attention, so she makes shit up. You know what I mean? She just sits here all night. He's like, this guy's homeless, fuck, He's like, that guy just wants drugs from us. Like, basically, it was like, it's a shit show, right? And even like the system, the way it works, I went to a clinic and I had 2 different things to see. All right. I was fucked up. I had a foot. I had infections. I was all over the place. And so I went and they made me check in twice. Fuck. And I saw, they were like, bang. And I saw it was like $235 just to check in. So like, and that's at the hospital. So boom, they're charging that somewhere, right? So it's bang, bang. Like they're hitting that shit. Dude, I've been to that St. Michael's Hospital. That's the only hospital I've ever been to in Toronto, Spencer S. You know the one by the Eaton Center? They could film a fucking TV show in that place. Like, speaking of which, right on cue, here's ambulances. But, yeah, the hospital in downtown Toronto is insane. I sat there once for like 9 hours, man. Like literally, like I was there all night, man. And I can't even blame them. It was one thing after another, guys. Some kid came in, he got stabbed. Some dude got shot. Fuck. Like it was one after another. He was wheeling people in, and then a cop got fucking shot. I was like, what are the odds of me being in the hospital the night a cop gets shot? Fuck. And trust me, like the cop took center stage. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking, they basically even told everyone. They came to the emergency room. They said, listen, if anyone's not serious, you're not going to be seen. So you might as well just leave. And I went up. I was like, listen, I got to fucking see somebody. And they were like, sit down, sir. I remember once in Montreal, I was there. I was there for like 3 hours. I thought I was going to die. Fuck. I was like keeling over. I had like gallstones and shit. And the hospital in Montreal the Royal Victoria. It's a great hospital. It's one of the best hospitals in North America, actually. So I always went there when I could in Montreal. There was once I couldn't get there. I was like, oh, fuck, I got to go to the Montreal General. You know, I was like, you want to go to the Royal Vic. Fuck. If you ever get hit in Montreal by a car, tell them, take me to the Royal Victoria. Like, it's like Royal Victoria is like the McGill University Hospital. It's like Harvard or something. Like, it's really, really good. So the thing is, the Montreal Alouette football stadium, the Montreal Alouettes and the CFL, their football stadiums there. So the hospital, like you can see the field from the hospital rooms, actually. Yeah, it's actually pretty negative, but yeah, I've been in there in some sad situations, and oh, look, they're playing football. You can see, so it's right. The windows like look right onto the field type thing. So I'm in the hospital, I'm waiting, and I'm in Montreal, and you know, someone OD'd or something. It's like, oh fuck! Like it was one thing after another for a couple hours, and then they even told me, listen, we're gonna see you soon. And I was like, all right, good, good. And then I swear to God, man, like fucking 4 football players get stretchered in. And they're in uniform and shit. And listen, I love football, right? But I'm like, oh, great, fuck. And they got like the treatment right away. They got wheeled in and shit. And it was Brian Chu, the center of the Alouettes. And the guy had like a little thing on his foot. And I went up, I started bitching. And I'm like, listen. I said, I'm a big Alouette fan. But I said, dude, you said your ankle. I said, I got to see a fucking doctor. I started yelling at them. And I said, these guys, I said, they're not even that injured, all right? And they were like, you got to calm down, sir, and stuff. And I fucking whipped a chair. I picked up a chair and I fucking threw it against the wall and shit. I said, I better see a fucking doctor, sir. I'm lucky they didn't kick me out and shit. They actually got me a doctor. They actually like, all right, fucking, they got me a doctor. I thought, you know what? I've only thought about that the other day. All these ambulances. I'm like, I don't even know what to do. Fuck. Just let that happen. And I was thinking about that. I'd go downstairs to the lobby and say, well, who do I call? I don't think 911, I don't think 911 works here. 911 only works if you have like Blue Cross or something like that, I think. Or what's the deal, Drew? If you don't have any insurance at all, you call the city one, right? So like I call the Weehawken Fire Department type shit. Like I noticed that in New York, you know, you have these sort of private ambulance companies zipping around the city. But then I see the old it's just a hotline. Yeah, that's the thing, Shauna. Like in Canada, you call an ambulance, they send you an ambulance. In the States, it's a little different. They're like, well, what plan are you on? Like, you can't just call an ambulance. Like, it's not a, you know what I mean? It's not a, you know, like it's like a taxi, you got to pay. Like, you can't just call it. But there's one that picks you up. I think it's the city one. I remember in LA, I told you guys a story, folks. We saw someone got stabbed and they were like, does he have Blue Cross? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to go ask him. Yeah, you got to pay for an ambulance. Yeah, but see, Bruce, we love you, Bruce, but once again, our point is, Bruce, they don't send it here. There ain't no bill in 30 days. Unless Bruce is going to explain to us the American fucking ambulance system. What happened? Your blood was pouring out of your face. You had to wait 3 hours. It's a family after family with mild coughs and sore knees packed the place. Yeah, but that, you know what the problem is? I don't know. Bruce should have like a fucking travel show. The irony, like that'd be great. It's like when Bruce started telling us what fucking hotel rooms cost in places. Like, Bruce, you should have a travel show. Hi, I'm Bruce Chad. When you're in New York, you should look at these hotels. If you're looking to save money on the road, like you should just play it up like you're a world traveler. And then we'll out you, though, once you become a big star. Jack and Sault Ste. Marie ever. I'm Bruce in the Sioux. Teaching you how to save money on an ambulance in New Jersey. Man, I've taken taxis to the hospital in Canada. All right, myself. I'm like, I'm not waiting for an ambulance. I just got into a taxi. I've done that. I've done that numerous times. I'm like, fuck that. I'm not calling an ambulance. Fucking sirens come and the whole 9 yards. Like Bruce says too, you get tagged for fucking money and shit. Like, no. Even if you're fucking like bleeding and shit. I pissed a taxi driver off once, so I bled all over the back of his taxi. He didn't have a choice though. He has to take you, right? Like if you're drunk and puking, they can kick you out. But if you're like bleeding and shit, he can't like kick you out of the cab. He didn't notice. I got in. He's like, oh, fuck. He's like, get out of my cab. I was like, dude, you got to go to the hospital. I told him, the quicker you get to the hospital, the quicker I'll be out of your cab. Oh, I bled all over his fucking seat and shit, too. Yeah, exclusive AHL packages. If you're looking for a good hotel in Plymouth, Michigan, Bruce Chad can hook you up. If you're looking for a deal at the fucking the Best Western Plymouth, you're taking in a Plymouth Whaler game. Yeah. with it comes a local Plymouth only Domino's area 2-for-1 special. When booking through Bruce Chad, Travel Chad, you get 2 tickets to a Plymouth Whaler game, a room at the Best Western, and a fucking free twisty bread or a fucking dessert of your choice with your fucking Domino's pizza. Bruce Chad's travel agency. And Bruce can call people and ask, hey, do you want to buy my AHL travel package? It'll be like the surveys. If you don't do it, he's going to yell at you. He sends you angry tweets. You know, there was something I wanted to get to on the morning after. I never did, though. Oh, yeah. Anthony Bourdain would hate Bruce. You know, they do like weed, though. You guys would have that in common. You like to drink, I assume. You drink, Bruce, or do you only smoke? Like, you can't get more opposite than Bruce Chad and Anthony Bourdain. Like, look, Anthony Bourdain loves to travel the world. The guy lived to travel the world. Well, Bruce is the polar opposite of love to travel the world. Anthony Bourdain, what's up, Ryan? See, Anthony Bourdain loves good food. Bruce Chad lives on Domino's. A dude that fucking doesn't leave the compound and eats Domino's every day meets a guy that travels the world and likes to eat fucking random new shit that, you know, whatever every day. That's like me hanging out with Mike Pence. Yeah, no. Anthony Bourdain would punch Bruce in the face. Anthony Bourdain would be like, you know what? People like you, like Anthony Bourdain right now is dead. And he's thinking, I can't believe like this guy eats fucking Domino's and smokes weed all day. Never leaves the house. And, you know, I don't know. And I'm the one that's dead. I was reading Anthony Bourdain, something about him the other day. I don't know why, but it popped up. And it was his hatred for that chick Rachel Ray. I guess Anthony Bourdain like really hated he really hated Rachel Ray. He's all, you know, I don't know, it's like watching her show makes you stupider. He's like, I wouldn't feed her food to a fucking pack of fucking rats. Like, he's like, she gives the food industry a bad name. She's a twit. Like, I was like, dude, a little over the top, you know? But all those cooking guys are mean. That'd be awesome too. Imagine like Bruce Chad on like with Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay tells people, all right, I want you to make your own, I want you all make a pizza. And, you know, imagine like he's on Hell's Kitchen there or something. You know what I mean? He's on one of that show, Master Chef. That's it, Master Chef. You know, Gordon Ramsay says, all right, I'll be back in 40 minutes. You know, y'all have 40 minutes to make a pizza. He comes back and Bruce Chad orders Domino's. Like, Bruce, what the hell is this? Yeah, we got to get Bruce. We got to get you. We got to get you on one of these game shows, Bruce. We got to get you on a game show or one of those cooking shows. That was the best when we were in Las Vegas. How do you make French toast? Yeah. we that time we were in Vegas and we tested the Gordon Ramsay's fish and chips live on the air. Oh yeah, Anthony. Oh, yeah, that's a good call. I think Anthony Bourdain would dislike Andercuss more. Bruce, listen, Bruce likes Domino's pizza. There's nothing wrong with that. Andercuss is just insane. Like Andercuss likes the worst of everything. Like he thinks Subway sandwiches are the best submarines in the world. Like he thinks Sbarro pizza is the best. Like we can go down the list, right? Like Bruce isn't crazy. I've eaten a lot of Domino's in my time. I find Domino's though, Riggs, it depends on your location. Like Bruce Chad's in a small town, so like it's gonna be good. Like you order Domino's in a big city and stuff, it's kind of hit or miss. It's like that with a lot of fast food though. Like McDonald's in the suburbs is better than McDonald's in a city. It's just true. It just is. Like yeah, but you know, Riggs, you eat at least in a nice part of FanDuel. So what's your deal? What's your deal, Riggs? You're gonna be you're not around this week, right? You're in Atlantic City. Me and Cam are gonna be going to the book on Saturday. No, I didn't see that. Well, if they bought Yonkers for $850 million, they must think that they're going to be able to take sports bets there. Yeah, me and Cam will be at the FanDuel Sportsbook on Saturday night. I'm assuming. Do you want to come down, Drew? If you got any plays, you got to get in for the Super Bowl. And yeah, anyone, if you want to come down, Drew, on Sunday, or anybody wants to come down, if you're in the area, Sunday, you can join us for the Super Bowl. And surprisingly enough, I'll pimp it on Twitter, actually. Surprisingly enough, I was shocked to see this. But Versa is having a Super Bowl party. So I'm not shocked they're showing the Super Bowl. Obviously, they're going to show the Super Bowl. But Versa, and so the bar is having a Super Bowl party. No, we're going to be live on the air, Riggs. Me, Corey, and Cam Stewart are going to be on from Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon all the way through to the end of the game. We really should have started at 4. But we're going to be on at 3 in the afternoon. But we got commercial breaks and stuff, so yeah, we're going to be at the studio. And then, so as I'm stating, at Versa, the bar, they got a Super Bowl party, free admission. So hey, that's a good start right there. Because even when Corey told me, he goes, I saw a poster up. They have posters up here. They're having a Super Bowl party. And they always have these private parties in that bar, right? Upscale, like the fucking the Real Housewife, or there was a chick from The Bachelor. Like TV parties, and like the chick from The Bachelorette or something had a party there last week, a few weeks ago. You know, there's always these private parties that even us, like they block you off. Yeah, it's private. They paid for it and shit. You know what I mean? So when me and Corey saw that, we're like, fuck. We said probably like fucking $100 to get in or something. Fuck. Because even FanDuel's charging $34 to watch the game. No, you can watch the game on the screens there, but I'm saying FanDuel's got a deal, actually. It's not bad. I actually think it's like fucking, I don't know if it's all you can drink. So, yeah, Sunday at Versa, free admission. You have to reserve your spot, though. But it's free admission. $1 chicken wings. Like, I'm shocked by that. Like, their chicken wings are like $22. They're very good, too. Like I like their wings, but I don't order them because I'm like I don't eat at that restaurant. It's too expensive, and it's good, but it's not worth the prices they charge. It's hit or miss. Fuck. Sometimes the food's really good there, and sometimes like fuck, you charge it fucking $30 for this. It's an expensive restaurant. We'll put it that way. It's an expensive place. But Super Bowl Sunday, yeah, $1 chicken wings. I'm impressed. I even spoke to the manager chick, a cute blonde chick. Corey brought her on the air before. She's actually pretty nice. Like she's like, there's a lot of uptight people in that building. Like she's nice though. Like so I asked her. I said, "Oh, you got the Super Bowl party?" And I said, "I'm surprised to see." I said, "$1 chicken wings." I said, "Really?" I said, "Your fucking food's like $100." She started laughing. She goes, "Oh," she goes, we want to fill the place, want to be cool." And she goes, "We have a special menu for Super Bowl Sunday." And she goes, "Oh, like nachos, chicken wings, tacos." And she goes, "Everything's $1." I'm like, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, it's gonna be $1 chicken wings, dollar like whatever Super Bowl fare." Now it's an upscale place. It's not gonna be hot dogs, right? So, but still, it's like cheap appetizers, $1. That's why it's more in Vegas. It's even $2 a hot dog for a Super Bowl in Vegas. So yeah, like dollar wings, dollar Super Bowl fare food, and $5 drinks. $5 drinks. Dude, I spent $250 there one night drinking. That UFC night, I spent $250 that night. Literally. I was drinking double vodkas. They were like 20 fucking $6 a pop. Like it was nuts. It was like $23 plus tip was like $28. I was giving it a 5. It was like literally like $30 a double. So it's $5 for a beer. It's $5 for a vodka and cranberry, orange juice, vodka, orange juice. $5 a drink for Super Bowl Sunday. $5 for domestic beer, whatever, beer or fucking drink. $5. Yeah, it's not hard with me, Rich. I know. See, I told Cam today. Yeah, that's the night here. That's the night I passed out. I never do that. I never do that. You know what? I was exhausted though. It wasn't really drunkenness. It was partially like, yeah, it was pretty bad, man. We got on the other side we got basically like down the street, and it was outside the gas station. Fuck, actually, we were outside the gas station out here, and he woke me up. Fuck, he goes, "Hey, hey, hey, hey!" She starts shaking me and shit. He's like, "Hey," I'm like, "Oh, fuck!" I'm like, "Sorry, man." And he even goes, he goes, "1 minute you were talking, the next minute you just boom." I was wondering. I said, I was thinking, how the fuck did he even get me to the gas station like from here? Like, yeah. So I actually drank some beers too before I got there, Riggs. Yeah, come on, Lisa. There's nothing like falling asleep in the back of a taxi in New York City, right? You haven't lived until you passed out in a fucking New York cab. So yeah, Cam's going to be in town on Saturday. I'm glad being the trooper that he is going to be in town. I think, like I said, I'll have some drinks on Saturday night. I usually don't go back to back, but it's a big weekend. And to be honest with you, It'll help me on Sunday, to believe it or not, and Monday. This is what a life of of a professional drinker, in which I know myself. If I just only drink on Sunday, let's say I just start drinking Super Bowl Sunday at like 3 o'clock, have some beers on the pregame show. Like, we're allowed to drink Super Bowl Sunday, right? It's not an uptight show. We're not, basically Mike said, listen, once you get fucking blasted, then if you're really drunk, just sort of, step aside. But, you should keep it within reason. But, you know what I mean? So we're not on the hook or anything. Like, he knows we're going to bring in a lot of beer and booze and shit. I'm going to start off on beer until I can't take it anymore, and then I'll hit the vodka and orange juice. So I'll be all right. No, exactly. I've already thought of it, Riggs. I'm not mixing. I'm not doing shots. I'm not drinking wine. I'm not mixing anything. I'm going to drink Coronas and vodka. It works out fine for me. I'll drink a bunch of water after. I'll be good. But the thing is, if I drink just on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, I'm going to get all fucking fucked up quicker. And Monday morning, I'll be brutally hungover. And I got to wake up and do it the morning after. It sounds crazy, but if I drink 2 days in a row, I won't be. I know myself now, and I don't get as hungover anymore because I know how to hydrate and shit before I go to bed now. I've learned my lessons. So I won't get shit-faced Saturday night, but I'll get a little drunk and shit with Cam. First time Cam at the FanDuel Sportsbook. It's just going to be him. His girlfriend's not coming. So there won't be any drama or anything. So me and Cam will go to the book. We'll get our bets in for the Super Bowl. Cam likes to bet the ponies. There'll be NHL hockey and shit. We'll hang out at the book on Saturday night with Cam, have some drinks. And then Sunday, I'll wake up. I'll be a little hungover and shit. But I'll be like, all right, it's Super Bowl. Suck it up. And then, boom, have some drinks. And then Monday, I won't be as hungover that much. Like, I'm hungover more the first day. Like, when I was in Vancouver, I drank like 3 days in a row when I was there. And I usually don't do that anymore. And I'm usually like a once, and like Jazz says, I'm soft. I'll get wasted, and then I'm sick for 2 days and shit. But in Vancouver, like I said, I know how to hydrate now. Fuck, I like the Wizards tonight. I didn't take them. No, none of those Steel Reserve. That shit fucks you up, Haynes. Yeah, it sets you off, that stuff. Look, I drank like 4 of them, and I was pretty messed up. No, I wasn't messed up after the 4, but it set me off. Like, it was definitely like an accelerator. Like, basically, I drank 4 cans of that shit, 4 cans of that shit. And I went to the Brooklyn. I drank that before the net game. And then after a couple of doubles at the game, I was lit. Fuck. Like, it set me like, boom. Man, that Four Loko shit? Our boy Bronx Bomber, I was in Vegas with him. He's like, I hear about this Four Loko, but how it fucks you up. And he goes, it won't fuck me up. He goes, I can handle that. And Bomber drank like fucking 8 cans of Four Loko, man. Fucking. He was fine until he wasn't. You know what I mean? And lo and behold, just boom, man. He fell over and shit. Fucking. It was at the Riviera. He fell on the carpet. And then the Riviera, like, we picked him up and we put him in the seat and shit. Man, he was passed out on a slot machine. Oh, yeah, I know. The Monday morning is not going to be great. Listen, it's perfect, Riggs. It's a perfect walk. Dude, I can get there in 4 minutes. The thing that takes long for me in the morning is the elevator. Sometimes, like, it's fucking. Sometimes there's a bunch of people. Like, it takes like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. It backs me up, but. Tomorrow is going to be a bitch. It's going to be pretty cold in the morning, I guess, out there. I don't know if you got caught in that shit, Riggs, today, but we got caught in it. Drew did. I was actually on the water, guys, during that snow squall. Like, exactly. Look, I took the 3:30 ferry, so at 3:30 Eastern. At 3:30, it started to snow a bit. It never snows here, so I noticed that. There's like these geese that live outside the ferry terminal too. So I always look at these geese. They haven't moved in days. They're just hanging out. Big fucking geese, Canadian looking big geese type shit. And so I was looking at the geese, and it was sort of raining a bit. But I noticed, I was like, oh fuck, it's actually snowing. I'm like, it never snows here. But I was like, well, it's snowing a bit. But it was sort of that wet snow. But then it was picking up. And then, as I got on the ferry, I was like, man, it's fucking kind of snowing pretty hard. And then, boom, we got out of the middle of the Hudson, and then, bam, man, we're fucking rocking and shit. Like, you couldn't see anything. And I got off the boat, and it was nuts, man. Like, fucking got off, and it's really windy in this area. Like, right down by the water there, like, there's this little weird wind tunnel and shit. And it was blowing towards the water. So, like, the snow and the water snow was like blowing right in my face. Look, I'm Canadian, so I'm used to this shit, but I'd never even been in that before. Like, I was like, holy fuck, I can't see. So I tried to pull my hood down and cover so I could see, but I realized I can't see. So I sort of just fucking covered my fucking face and just sort of walked along. You know what I mean? Now I'm too lazy. I don't want to take the stairs in the morning. And then boom. So I walked from the time I walked from the ferry until I got here. It was that snow squall. Like, it was crazy type shit. Like, all the traffic stopped. And I was like, oh boy, it's going to be a crazy night. I was even thinking, I was like, ah, fuck. I was like, man, I'm not even going to be able to order food because the city's going to come to a standstill. And it was the craziest thing. Like, guys, the visibility was nil. You could not see 2 feet in front of you, literally 2 feet. Like, I looked out the window here, and it was just a sheet of white. It's nuts because there's a construction site back there, right? And these guys work hard. Fuck, they're at 6 in the morning till fucking 9 at night type shit. They're insane. Like, fucking, these guys work hard. And they all left. They were sent home. And I'm sure the foreman was pissed off because 10 minutes later it was sunny and you would never have known that it snowed, man. It's fucked up. Like, if you told someone it happened today, you'd think you're lying. Like, I was going to take a picture of it, actually, but I had to get on the air. I didn't have a lot of time. I got back here like 7 minutes before I was on the air. So, but I looked out the window and I was like, holy fuck, this is the worst I've ever seen it since I've been here. It was like blowing. It was hitting the window. It was total chaos. Like, every car had stopped. Like, no one could drive. They all stopped. And you could not see anything. Anything. It was just white behind my window here. Like, you could not even see the water. Like, you couldn't see 5 feet out my window. And then miraculously, I swear to God, like fucking 10 minutes later, guys, it was sunny and clear as hell. It was like you could take a postcard of the fucking skyline. It's bizarre, fuck. All right, we'll get Urbano on in a minute or two here. I don't even know how our picks are doing. Big East. Well, we were way off with Creighton. That didn't work out very well. But Duquesne wins. Duquesne wins. So we only gave you 2 college basketball picks tonight. So we split the college basketball. Creighton loser. Duquesne winner. And NBA, actually, we have 2 late picks. We got the Portland Trailblazers +1. We have the Sacramento Kings and the Atlanta Hawks over 236.5. And we're on the T-Wolves, who the T-Wolves were fucking up big earlier, but being the T-Wolves, of course, they blew it. And, of course, now they're losing by 2 overs. Oh, God, this team. Like, I don't know why I bet on this team. And you know what's crazy? I looked at the T-Wolves and I actually looked at the Washington Wizards. I was like, you know, these teams suck, but I think they're both in good spots. I'm like, you know, they'll probably win. And lo and behold, the Wizards roll the Pacers. All right, there's still 2.5 minutes left. Is this Wizard game, is this T-Wolf game on TV? Is it on like the NBA network or anything? Yeah, Game Time Live. They got that court surfing. All right, here it is. Come on, Minnesota. Really, Memphis blow, guys. Like this. Chance to go in front, but it's may remain. Looking for the first win this season in overtime. And the crowd is great and cold here in Minneapolis, rising to his feet. Towns rattles out. At 6 of 16, he's back. Three this game, he's 4 of 6. And JP Bickerstaff is going to use a timeout. 39 seconds remaining. Each team has scored 4 points. 4 points in overtime. Great game. Like I said, this game is back to the basement. Derek Greenberg team mid-5 on -97. Hey, let's take a look at that last offensive possession by Minnesota. They've been fighting all of offense. They're better. Probably like down. Gave it up here for the open look to guy. Well, bravo for Derek Reyes. He's played extremely well. And I like the way he plays hard. When we look at this is a hard, difficult, low shot. On one end, we see Derek Reyes, Carl Anthony Towns play, or Derek Reyes. On the other hand, see the 2 best players of Memphis Grizzlies in bigger roles. I got to see Andrew Wiggins and Carl Anthony Towns in some kind of play, some kind of move. They're just standing around and watching Derek Reyes. He's got a phenomenal game. And they end up shooting a contested long 3. We're seeing some high basketball right now. Yeah, if you're a Minnesota fan, it's one thing to lose. Another to lose when your 2 best players aren't getting enough touch. And also, coaches have to put the play right now. That's why we're going to advance with our best shot. To get inside, some kind of way that my people think off the dribble or go into the ball. But that's that our friends in Minnesota broadcasters put up. Derek Ellis has played 43 minutes. The most he's played in an NBA game since 2015. I don't know if you checked the calendar recently, but 2015 is 2019. Yeah. All right, back up to Dave Bed.
Nice. And not have to play a half-court set. If he lets him get a steal, Taj Gibson get back out. Jump ball. Taj Gibson, how many times have we seen him come up with a key defensive play in a game and gets his hands on that one? So they will jump it up. Again, Taj has been so huge, setting up plays, making a good defensive play, getting a possession from Minnesota. It hasn't always worked out for the Bulls, but that little poke that gets Anthony Townsend involved, hopefully in this jump ball situation, you got to get two together. You want to jump ball to start the overtime against Gasol. You've got two together with Gillis is moving. So now Anthony Townsend has time to get to an Andrew Wiggins. You got a whole seal here and not let anybody get inside that little wedge that Anthony Townsend between Townsend and Andrew. That just is not a good jump. It's sloppy. He's going to score. We're going to jump it up again. That's just leads the jump ball execution. And Minnesota is not that good. You've got to be better. Was it an awkward toss, though, too, Jim? I mean, the referees are not good at throwing the jump ball. That's just ugly. You get different heights. Sometimes they should throw it short. Sometimes they throw it too high. And they mess the timing up. There's the last part of the toss, the jump ball toss. Or a size advantage here for Towns against Europa. You've got to hold Marc Gasol up in your Andrew Wiggins.
This is why I did the money line instead of the points with Minnesota. Maybe it won't matter anyways, but let's send Babano that link. Babano. Mr. Babano, that'll be like, well, I don't even know if I'm going to bet this game. Yeah, don't bet this game now. But Babano says he's got some props for us, so.
Two Minnesota players together, but I'm not sure Towns knew where they were, so he didn't want to take a chance. I believe he could set up his tip and then the play is going to go.
All right, here we go. Yeah, you should stop shooting so many threes. I hate that's the thing with the NBA. Like big guys, like I get it's a 3-ball league, but I don't like when big men are always bombing threes. It's like, dude, you're good enough. Just take it to the rack and get to the free throw line. All right, they win the tip. Let's go. At last check, my DraftKings team was doing pretty well, actually. So we'll check in and see how we're doing. I actually have Jared Bayless. I heard him just say he's got a season-high 19 points, so that's good. All right, Wiggins with the ball. He's killing too much time. I hate this play. All right, Wiggins taking it to the rack. Shoots. Long jumper. Misses. Towns. He hits it. That's a shot. That's a winner. That's a winner. That hit. Let's see it go. It's close. He did though. I think he got it off. Yeah, with 0.1. With one. A tenth of a second.
Connor went to town, shit. He was in foul trouble all night, but he came up big for the Illustrated Post.
That's pretty much as close as you can get without like, you know, there's been a few in college where it's like, wow, it's pretty close, but that's the thing. Look, he's all smiley now. That's the problem with Towns. He's too nice. He's a nice kid. He's a good kid, but you got to toughen up in the NBA. The NBA is it's a man's league. It's a Sharks league. He's a good player, though. Fucking Wiggins with the brick, too. That's what's overlooked in that. Wiggins with the brick. All right, so we're 2-1 going. Sacramento and Atlanta are putting up a lot of points right now. Not a bad start for the total. Slowing down a little bit. And we're on Portland. So we're 2-1 with 2 games pending. So we could either end up going 4-1, 2-3, or 2-2. We're all over the place. So we'll see what happens. Whatever, I don't care. It's the calm before the storm here. Before the Super Bowl, Ian Cameron now joins us. Babano. What's up, Babano?
It is the calm before the storm. It doesn't feel like calm because
I'm storm, polar vortex. I guess there really is. What's the weather like where you are?
There's no calm right now, outside or inside. Outside, it's been snowing. It's been bitterly cold for the last 2-3 days. We've gotten 10 or 15 centimeter snowfall after another. Inside, the storm is here because I've been researching and swarming over 100, 200 props the last couple of days, trying to narrow down. It's not easy. Trying to narrow down a select few that I like, but yeah, there's outside right now, getting ready for the Super Bowl, Gabe. Gotta love it.
Yeah, you know, one thing too though that's funny is that people get all freaked out. Like I said, I got caught in the middle of the crazy ass snow little mini squall thing today. It was nuts, but whatever. Like it gets cold for a few days or it snows. It's wintertime. You know what I mean? Like. People get shocked. Oh, I can't believe it's snowing. Oh, it's there. It's winter. Oh, it's like it's wintertime. Now, I know, listen, in Chicago and Minneapolis, it's insane. In those places, yeah. It's over the top.
I know it's bad.
Atlanta even right now where the Super Bowl is. But hey, it's wintertime, right? People can't get surprised. It gets cold in the winter. It's not, you know, it's like the sky is blue during the day. It's dark at night. And it gets hot in the summer, it gets cold in the winter. That's the way the shit works. Like I don't know what like people like don't understand that.
Like there's no doubt that what we're getting right now is way colder than what we've normally got the last few years. This is probably one of the colder days and colder weeks we've had in about 10 or 15 years. But to the people that bitch and moan and complain and get all upset about how cold it is, how much snow we get, you do realize you live in Canada, you live in New York City, you live in Chicago, you live in Detroit, you live in Buffalo. Pretty much signed up for this, deciding to live in those cities that you live in. You realize that, right? So, you know, you deal with it. You're living there. You obviously, you know, if you're living there, you're obviously going to have to put up with it. So put up with it and don't always complain all the time. You realize you're living in the cities you are. It is what it is.
Yeah. You can always move into a warm weather place.
Don't like it, move to Cali. Move to Florida. You know, move to Dubai. You know, somewhere where you're not going to have to worry about that kind of weather.
No one's moving to Dubai here, Babano.
They should show you what living's all about.
Are you ever going to move? Or
we're trying to build up enough financial equity to move.
Like I'll stay. And I'm not saying like, oh, like negatively. I'm just saying, hey, you know, what do you think ahead like that? Like, you know what? I'll just live in this town forever. Or do you like, I'll move to Toronto one day, or I'll move somewhere else?
Yeah, there's going to be a move coming. It's just a question of when. Well, the question of when is financial equity. Exactly. Pick more winners, save more, just keep building up the savings accounts, just keep building up the bankroll, and put the bankroll in a spot where there's enough sitting in the coffer, so to speak, that we can move someplace. And that's the goal.
Pretty good spot, though, really, to be honest. Like, you know, how far you're not that far from a major city in Toronto. you're in a town where it's not as expensive to live as it is in some of the other cities or places. You know, you got the Tiger Cats. Like I like Hamilton personally. I've always been a fan of Hamilton. Whenever I've you know, whenever I've been there, I've always thought, yeah, I like this place. Now, to be honest, it wouldn't be my top city in the country to live in. But at the same point in time, like I'm not from there, so you've lived there your whole life. But yeah, I think it's a cool place. Actually, I think you've got it good there, though. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just one of those, and it's one of those situations.
I don't know if you own your place, right, or you rent or whatever, or what your deal is, but should have it where you know, as you get older, you got enough money to just maybe go to Vegas in the wintertime for a few months. You know.
Yeah, well, it's a rental deal, but when I look at it right now with you know, being in Hamilton, it's all my friends stayed here. You know, I think one, maybe two moved away, and like 80% of my friends stayed around here. So I stayed around here. It was one of those things, you know, nobody else is moving away. Why am I moving away? So from that standpoint, stayed close to town. And
well, that's a bad, yeah. What, so you gonna jump off a bridge? Were you one of those? Did you hear that a lot when you were a kid too?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everybody, all your friends jump off the bridge. You're going to do that too. Yeah, exactly. You know, that's always been the people that are the deterring my efforts would bring that up. You're right. Actually, they have. But no, I don't mind it here. I mean, one thing from a sports perspective I like about Hamilton is we're getting more teams. You know, we already know we had the Ticats. The Bulldogs went from AHL to OHL. They're getting a Canadian Premier League soccer team, the Hamilton Force.
Oh, that's
you know,
cool.
I wish I liked soccer more, but I'll still support it. I might even go to a game, even though people say I don't like soccer. We'll see. And they're getting the Canadian Basketball League team, Hamilton Honey Badgers, too, the Canadian Elite Basketball League. Yes, exactly. Interesting name, but they're starting up their first season. I'm definitely going to see some of their games.
Tyrone Matthew on that team?
Yeah, it's basically it's Mike Moriali's involved with it. He is like one of the people that's running the league, so to speak, or one of the higher ups, and it's basically going to be a feeder system. Canadian talent, mostly international talent that plays in Europe. They're apparently going to offer some of these FIBA, you know, European League players an opportunity and contract to play in this league as well. So I'm looking forward to checking it out, see what it's all about. I wish them success. It's nice to have basketball in this city, actually.
You know, I was thinking too, when you live in places, I lived in LA and I lived in Vegas. So I've lived in like a couple of warm weather places for extended periods of time, and it's strange. Like, you know, on the East Coast, you hate it when it's here, but you appreciate summer more, basically, and the seasonal change. Like Vegas, you sort of turn into a zombie, like essentially. Like, you don't really know what time of year it is. You don't really care. It's like, you know, I don't know. It's different. Like everything has its you know, pluses and minuses. But like when you see Shell Dog or Whale Capper, you know, posting these pictures, you know, beautiful orange sky in the Pacific Ocean and stuff. It's like, yeah, you kind of wonder what the hell you're doing here on the East Coast, you know?
Yeah, I mean, East Coast is sometimes, especially on weeks like this, 15 centimeters of snow falling every day. You know, wind chill of about minus 30 degrees Celsius, although I can't complain too much. Winnipeg's even worse. I feel bad for those.
Yeah, but that's not a good comparison.
Winnipeg is even cold.
Winnipeg can't beat a bar of like fucking success here.
Minus 50 with the wind chill, I heard, in Winnipeg either yesterday or today. That's
for Minneapolis. Chicago, it's minus 75 right now with the wind chill.
Yeah, that's bad. Poor Alex. He's in Minneapolis now. My buddy on the Ice Guys, Alex B. Smith. He's in Minneapolis. He's dealing with it. He's actually complaining about it, but he should complain about it. That's brutal. If it's minus 75, that's almost you can't expose your skin for more than 10 seconds.
But also, like you said, he's choosing to live in basically the coldest city in North America or in America.
Minnesota in January, you open the door to weather like this.
Like next in Alaska, even. I don't even think Alaska is as cold as Minneapolis. Like Minneapolis is cold, man. Like it's like you said, the closest Canadian city is fucking Winnipeg. It's the same area, dude. It's like North Dakota and Fargo and stuff. You know what I mean? It's cold up there. Like fucking look, I've never been to Winnipeg. Like I've never experienced that. I'm from Montreal. It used to be brutally cold when I was a kid in Montreal. Like it was commonly minus 25 and all that shit. You know, I played hockey outdoors. I remember like I was in my 20s even, like in minus 22. It didn't bother me. It sounds crazy, but in Montreal, it's a dry -22. It's like, it sounds crazy, but the temperature in Montreal, I don't know, it doesn't feel as bad somehow. Like, it's really bad, but it's like, whatever. Like, I gotta tell you, like, today people, I don't know about you, Drew, like, I was eating this shit up today. Like, earlier in the day, like, I was overdressed. Like, I looked outside, I was like, holy fuck, it's cold, man. And I looked at the weather and I was like, oh, fuck. And it's windy on the Hudson and shit. So I bundled up, man. I had like 2 pairs of pants on, like 3 jackets, a hoodie and shit. Like half an hour later, man, I'm sweating and shit. I'm like, holy fuck, I'm overdressed for this shit. And it wasn't, I was like, that's probably you're crazy. But no, as the day went on, I was like, man, I actually took one of the jackets off. And then I got hit with that little snow thing. But the weather's been very good here in New York. But anyways, let's get down to business, Babano. So what do you got for us?
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. I mean, I still, I got to go for the afternoon walk still. I don't care what the weather is. You can't stay in the office and sit on this damn chair in front of this damn desk all day. You got to get out and move your legs. You got to get exercise.
And you got to walk your dog. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got to do that. Exactly. And the thing is, too, when you walk outside or when you go outside, you don't feel the cold when you dress for it. Hello, put some fucking layers on. Put on a couple t-shirts, put on a sweatshirt, put on a hoodie, even 2 hoodies. Sometimes I do when it's really cold, and then your coat, and you're good to go. How do you think people camp or when they go to their cottage at wintertime or when they're camping in the woods? People do that. Even in frigid weather, they'll still camp out in the woods. I know a friend of mine that does that. Was up there last weekend, cold as fuck. Still didn't cancel his trip. Still went up there, camping in the woods, having a good time. But why did he have a good time? Because he didn't fucking underdress himself. He had the layers.
Right, though.
Yeah.
I got to be honest.
Become prepared. You can survive the elements. That's all I'm saying.
I haven't yet battled the outdoorsman. We got Bruce Chad giving tips.
The expert outdoorsman. Yeah.
Yeah,
that I am not.
Bruce Chad was giving travel tips. And you believe that, Babano? Bruce Chad was giving travel tips.
I know, the guy that's never been outside his front door. Yeah, it's giving people advice on where to go and prices and air flights that are affordable.
And now we got Babano telling people to suck it up and go camping in the frigid Canadian cold.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you don't seem like the big outdoorsman, though.
I have at least been to a cottage at wintertime with a lot of, where did winter hikes and did all that stuff and, trudged with but with our booze, we had the booze in hand, of course. So that keeps you a little warmer too.
I'll admit, like, I'm not into camping.
I don't blame you. I only do it because I get roped into it, pulled into it.
I guess it could be fun. Like if I was at like a Budweiser or Molson Camp Fest and there's a bunch of chicks and, you know what I mean? I get it, but yeah, like I don't want to be in the middle of the woods fucking with a campfire and fucking bears and fucking
yeah.
I don't really in the middle of nowhere. I really don't get the kick out of it. I understand the isolation part, so I get that, but I'd rather than camping, I'd rather even so rent a cabin somewhere in the middle of nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want to cook s'mores
with cable and like a fireplace and shit. Then, oh yeah, let's go fucking grab some fish out of the lake and shit. It's like fuck that. Yeah, I don't got time for that shit.
Yeah, the frozen lake. Yeah, exactly. But let's cook some s'mores and the roaring fire there. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea in the middle of the freaking cold, -20-degree nights. Let's sit in front of the fire and.
You know what the other one, the other crazy shit people do in Quebec, in Canada, and in like North Dakota and these places, the cold places, is ice fishing.
Yeah, another one of my friends does that all the time. Always asks you, want it? No, fuck no. Sorry.
Yeah, they sit in a little fucking shack, like you're in the middle of this lake. You're in this
have fun.
Lake freezing. Yep. You're in this little, like it looks like an outhouse, like this little thing. You're sitting there, and people just drink beer, and there's a hole in the ice, and you just have a fucking fishing rod. You just sit there. They call it ice fishing. It's like, yeah, that sounds like fun. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like that wooded, hut that looks like you go there to take a shit or something. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And people like fall through and shit. You're always hearing, it's like we fell through. It's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be standing out in the middle of a fucking lake. You know what I mean?
Why are you sitting in a hut on an ice cold frozen lake? Yeah.
I see that all the time in Canada too. People post it on Periscope and shit. Oh, the lake is frozen over. It's like, man, you got to know, dude. Like, it could be frozen, but Mother Nature and ice is a weird thing, dude. Like, you skating along and one part it ain't frozen and it's soft. Like, I don't know, this, the sun hit one part. Once you go under, you're not coming back up, like in one of those things. Like, people, I've never been a fan of that. Like, I would play, like, I used to play on ponds and shit when I was a kid, but only on like more shallow ones and shit where I sort of knew it. But like, as a kid, it was almost like a thing. Like, it was like a fear of mine. Like, kids, as it was one of those like public service announcements that got to you. Like, I've seen kids fall into ice and shit like that. It's not a good time. Like,
no, it's
like
especially small kids.
It doesn't happen as much anymore, it seems, but kids do fall through ice. Fishermen fall through ice. Sometimes you'll see like idiots will have car races and shit. I used to go to that when I was a kid. That was big in Quebec. Where they used to, the frozen water, they used to have like drag races and shit on the fucking frozen ice. Pretty Quebec thing to do, but it's pretty stupid too.
Yeah, it is. I feel bad for the small kids that would fall through the ice if they're out there or their parents bring them out there or whatever, especially the ones that, haven't been taught how to swim. Could you imagine if their kids are not good swimmers either, and they'd have to somehow, find a way to stay afloat?
Water,
brutal.
Like, I'm not a fan. I like standing on beaches. I don't go in the ocean. Last time I went to the ocean, like in the mid '90s, I got like fucking some weird like fucking leeches in my skin and shit.
Sand in your feet.
I went in the water in Mexico.
Seaweeds on your feet. And
I went in the water in Mexico.
Yeah.
And a few days later, it was like I had alien in me. Like, I literally had like a fucking thing in my arm, like a little mini worm or something. Fuck. I had to fucking take some pill to kill it and shit. But and I got my mother got bit by a scorpion. Fucking, I was like, screw that, man. Like, you walk around beaches and shit. I lived in LA. You walk around Venice Beach, there's fucking glass and shit. Like, it's not like an episode of Three's Company. You know what I mean? Even Costa Rica, I was there. We were there like last Super Bowl. We were in the beach area.
Yeah,
it was nice, but there were like fucking jagged rocks everywhere and shit. You know what I mean? And another thing is too, sharks nowadays. The waters are getting warmer and warmer in the oceans. Like there's a fucking climate change effect going on, and sharks are coming closer and closer to shore now than they ever have before. And it's repeated everywhere. It's like a problem, actually. Now, there's more shark attacks suddenly. And it's not that sharks are coming after humans, but there's less fish in the ocean. They're coming closer. And it's like a phenomenon. Like in Cape Cod, it's actually a problem. Like, the fucking sharks are coming like way closer than they ever did before. And I'm not down with that shit. Like, you get attacked by a shark. Hey, you're in their hood. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like walking through the Crips neighborhood or something. Don't be surprised if you get fucked up. You go in the ocean, you're in a shark's hood. But let's get to the props, Vanna. What do you got for us? Bring on some props.
Yeah. One last thing on that is, if you're going to swim in an ocean or a big body of water, and all of a sudden a shark's going to end up showing up, the shark's not going to say, "Hi, how are you? Nice day. Are you enjoying yourself?" No. It's going to chomp your fucking foot off, or very well could, or look to do something like that. You're on my property now. You're trespassing. The shark's going to do. I'm going to just bite you to death. That's the way the shark thinks. Who the hell are you? Who the fuck are you invading my territory?
You know what? What's funny? I used to. We got to get to football, but I used to always like say, like, I've been to a lot of places in the world, and there's always like a pool at the hotel on the beach type shit. And I remember always like thinking, like when I was younger, I used to go in the water and shit. And I used to always think, like, what chumps, fuck? You come all the way to Barbados to what? To go in a pool? You know what I mean? There's the ocean and stuff, right? You're on a beach. And now I see why.
Yeah.
The last time, like I said, when we were in Costa Rica, I didn't go in the ocean at all, but there was a pool right there. And I did. I jumped in the pool for a brief second there, and sort of got a feel for it. Had a beer and shit, but I wasn't going I wasn't going in the water in the ocean, but anyways, what's your props, Babano?
Yeah, Super Bowls.
You're stalling. What's your
No,
props?
not stalling. I want to say one final point on this whole thing.
Look,
El Nino, they're saying this is going to be one of the hottest summers going. I've read multiple reports saying that this is going to be big time El Nino effect impacting North America this summer, and it's going to be an extremely – so even though we're dealing with maybe one of the most extreme colds we've had in a period of winter, we're expected to get the opposite end of the spectrum in the summertime, maybe some of the worst heat and highest temperatures we've had in a very long time this summer. So just be aware of that. Of course, the reports could be fucking wrong. It is weather, but just
Babano is giving us fucking outdoor fucking tips.
Now weather updates, yeah.
Yeah, now you're giving us fucking meteorology fucking shit for 6 months.
No. Where's my meteorologist?
Yeah, well, all right, you got a prop for us or what?
All right, here we go. We're on to the Super Bowl. Okay. Well, last week we started talking about this game a little bit. And I started talking myself more into the LA Rams, and I started, getting more and more interested in that side. And I'm going to be on the LA Rams. I don't know how or why I'm doing this because I think most of the bet against New England bets that I've had over the years have not been good, have not worked out well. But I've sold myself on LA. I'm in. Okay, there's no turning back. We like the Rams in this game. The Patriots offense breezed up and down the field last week or 2 weeks ago against Kansas City. It's not going to happen here. I think the pass rush with Sue playing the way he did against the Saints, forming that combo with Donald, they're going to be able to also, I think, impact that suddenly run-heavy offense the Patriots like to run with Michelle and Burkhead and those running backs. And the pass rush, I'll tell you what, if the Rams rather get New England in 3rd and long the number of times Kansas City did last couple weeks ago, they're not going to let the Patriots off the hook like Kansas City did. There's going to be no 13-19.
Much better than the Chiefs, yeah.
No, there is. They can cover better in the corners. They can get up pass rush better with Sue and Donald in the middle. And 3rd and long is not going to be the success that New England had against Kansas City here in this game. Goff in the offense, I think, can be fine. I still say New England can't cover in the open field. I mean, Kansas City finally started to exploit them in the second half of that game. Again, they're very slow in terms of coverage over the middle. There's going to be plays to be made, especially because Sean McVay's not scared of tossing the ball to Gurley and making him make people miss in the open field. He doesn't mind the short to intermediate passes. I think you'll see a bunch of that. Force this sometimes sketchy Patriots defensive group to have to cover in space, tackle in the open field. Been an issue for them at times. I think they can exploit that. So Rams plus the points, what I'm looking at. All right, now let's get on to the props, the good stuff.
Sorry, Ben. Oh,
you got a phone call, huh?
Well, keep talking, Ben. I just got to take this quickly.
All right, here we go. All right, let's talk about a few props here that we're looking at. Let me see. I'm just bringing it up here. It takes forever. I got all kinds of documents here, windows open, and I've got multiple articles I've had to write for the Super Bowl this week. I'm just trying to find the one I did on props. Let me see here. Props. There's a college basketball game starting right now. USC and Washington, Pac-12. I took a little USC plus 7.5 in this game just because, Trojans are playing better. If you want to jump in, it may be too late now. I think it's just tipping off, but they've won 3 in a row. They were all at home. Okay, that's the one concern. All of those wins for USC, 3-0 straight up, 3-0 against the spread last 3 games. They all came at home against, UCLA has struggled, but, they did beat Arizona and Arizona State. The Pac-12 as a whole this season is not very good. It's down. There's not a ton of great teams. They're going to be tested by Washington. They've been the class of the conference so far. Washington Huskies have been great. Mike Hopkins has done a very good job coaching this team. They're 10-0 at home. It's not easy to beat them here in Seattle. They're 7-0 in conference play, but USC's in revenge for an 88-81 loss at the Galen Center to this Washington Huskies team late December, catching 7.5 here. I know all those wins were at home, but they're playing better. Remember, Benny Boatwright was out for a bit earlier this season. He was banged up, dealing with some injuries. I know Washington, a good team. That 2-3 zone is a little, it's very good. They've played very good defensively. They're giving up 39% shooting, 64 points per game. That's pretty good numbers there. USC can shoot the 3 a little bit, though. 37% from 3 is not bad for USC. You got to be able to make your 3 balls in order to beat the zone. USC might be able to hit some a little bit here. It's just with Washington, you're not getting many bargains. They've been a ATS machine right now. What have they covered? Like 7 in a row? But they're also now laying 7.5 against a USC team that's playing a little bit better. So not a strong a thought or opinion here, but small play for me, USC there in that game. Total 141 as well. Not much on the total, but USC plus the points. Okay, here we go. Props. Okay, here we go. All right, this James White. What do we know about James White with the New England Patriots, or what have we come to realize with James White the last couple of years? Well, James White in the Super Bowl means production. I don't know what it is. It's just give Belichick an extra week to get ready for a football game, and he just insists in his little checklist of things we need to make happen is let's make James White a focal point. Let's get James White involved. Let's find him on the football field, and let's try to make some plays involving White in the offense. That's basically been New England in a nutshell the last couple Super Bowls. The Atlanta Super Bowl, James White went off. He went nuts in that Super Bowl 2 years ago against the Atlanta Falcons. He was everywhere on the field. They were throwing to him all the time. So it's constantly involved in that game. Not so much last year against the Philadelphia Eagles. His targets went down. His number of receptions went down, but he was still involved. You saw him a little bit here in the playoffs. I just have that feeling James White's going to be part of this football game in a big way. So I took James White over 5.5 receptions, which is at Bet365 at -125. Also over 52.5 receiving yards, -120. I am stronger on the receptions prop with James White than I am the receiving yards prop, because James White doesn't always bust a big run, after catching the football. He's got the ability to do that, but I think the receptions is what I think he's got a better chance of, as the prop that's got the better chance. And I like both. I think he's got a chance to exceed over 52.5. Of course I do. I wouldn't bet it, but I think the receptions is the safer one. I think he can get to 6 receptions or more. He was targeted 6 times last year. He had double digits in receptions 2 years ago in the Super Bowl against Atlanta. 14 receptions 2 years ago is what he had in the Super Bowl against Atlanta. Like I said, it's something about James White in the Super Bowl for the New England Patriots. He just finds a way to make an impact, and the Patriots find a way to get him involved in the offense. And I think that's going to happen here because Sony Michel's not going to run, I don't think, the way he did against Kansas City. I mean, it was just hand the ball off to Sony Michel, and it was just New England busting up the line of scrimmage time and time again against a very soft, weak Kansas City defensive front. Soft and weak. That's the best way to put that Kansas City defensive front. There was no thrust, none, zero. They're completely pushed back, blown off the line of scrimmage, Kansas City throughout that football game. You can tell I'm still pissed because I had Kansas City, and I really liked them in that game. And obviously frustrating to see the defense just play absolutely abysmal the way they did. But I don't think Michel's going to run as well against the Rams defensive front as he did against the Chiefs. And so what's that mean? New England's going to have to turn somewhere else, somewhere else that doesn't involve a deep ball down the football field. Because you know what? You look at New England this year, deep balls down the football field, not so much a big part of their offense, especially late in the regular season and into the playoffs. So, if Michel's not able to run effectively or as successfully, or Burkhead or any of those running backs, James White becomes your next option, I think, and an option that I think the Patriots are going to end up really going to in this game. So I like James White over 5.5 receptions. Again, that's -125. Pretty good price there. Some books have 6.5 at a really big plus price, and then some have James White 4.5, and you got to lay a lot of juice with that one. So it depends on what your threshold in terms of what kind of price you want to lay on these props. And again, with props, it's not always the worst thing in the world to lay -200, -300. If you've got a positive expectation wager, if you've got a high percentage prop, if you've got the stats and the data, and you have the game plan, I guess you could say, as well as you could think it's going to play out, because we never know for sure. We're just, we're trying to put our coordinators' hats on right now, trying to figure out how this game's going to go from an offensive perspective. It's in my opinion, I think you're going to see James White here in this game. It's just him in the Super Bowl just seems to have a match made in heaven. So definitely interested in those two props with White over his receptions, over his receiving yards in that one. From a defensive standpoint with the LA Rams, I've got two guys circled on the defensive side of the football in terms of tackles, solo and assisted tackles, number of solo and assisted tackles.
Busting out some tackles. So what did I miss there? You got James White over receptions and
receiving yards as well. I have more money.
The other ones?
More money on receiving yards, or more money on receptions, with James White than receiving yards. Those are the first two. We got these ones coming up. We've got two Rams that we've targeted right now on the solo and assisted tackles prop. Corey Littleton is one. Corey Littleton has an 8.5 in terms of solo and assisted tackles. That's the number. He is going to be, I think, everywhere in this football game defensively. He was everywhere last week against the New Orleans Saints. Let me bring it up what he had last week in that win over, or 2 weeks ago. I keep saying last week. 2 weeks ago.
I've been saying that all week too.
I know.
Same shit, whatever.
Last game, yeah.
It was last week.
Yeah. Well, Corey Littleton, inside linebacker for the Rams, 11 tackles and 1 assisted tackle, 12 for the football game. And you can get 8.5 here with this. And it's a matchup that I think indicates he's going to be active, very active in the defense. And he's going to be in on a lot of plays, I think, in this game. Because you look at what the Patriots, I think, are going to do. Okay, they're going to run. They're not deviating from running the football. They're not. We've seen it both games so far, Chargers and Chiefs. They ran the football a ton. He's very good at stopping the run, Corey Littleton. He's been in on a lot of plays against the run. That's going to be good, I think, for this prop. And also, even if they don't run quite as well, it goes back to my correlation with if they can't run quite as well, James White's going to be involved. Well, in terms of tackling running backs that can catch the football, Corey Littleton's a master at that. He's been great at that all season long for the LA Rams. So I think everything that New England's going to try to do the most in this game offensively are going to be plays that are going to allow for Corey Littleton to get in on the play, make a tackle, make a play, and help get over that 8.5. I think he's going to be very active. He had 12 total tackles last week, solo and assisted combined against New Orleans. You only have to get to 9 or more here to cash this prop. Corey Littleton to go over 8.5 with his solo and assisted tackles, I think, is a really good one. I think he's going to be in on a lot of stops and a lot of tackles against that New England offense.
But Bano's not fucking around now. We said he was stalling before. Now he's bringing up tackles and assists. So I'm looking at Bet365 here, and of course they don't have him. Oh, there he is. There he is at the bottom.
He should be there because that's where I bet it. They better have him.
Yeah, there he is. 8.5.
The other guy's Mark Barron. Mark Barron, I think this is 5.5. Mark Barron's another good candidate to go over that number. The Barron and Littleton are going to be the two guys I think that are going to be involved a lot in terms of making stops on that side of the ball. Barron's another guy that's been involved. He had 5 tackles against Dallas. He had 9 tackles last week or 2 weeks ago against New Orleans. So that's 14 tackles combined in the postseason in the 2 games for Mark Barron for the LA Rams. So I think him over 5.5. That's a good prop too.
Bano, they're mixing up. I give him credit for Bano. We've had a lot of guests on throughout the week, and we didn't have anyone bringing up defensive props. So props to you right there.
No pun intended. Well, I did good with them the last year. Actually, the last 2 years, I've started dabbling in the defensive props, the tackles props.
Well, I've done it before. I've done these before at Bet365. I haven't done them much this year though, and it's a little bit different. It's mixing it up because these props here, everyone's always so dependent on the offense, right? It's nice to mix it up a bit.
Yeah, and that's the thing about those two guys. I think the linebackers, they're going to be key. Very, very key for the Rams in terms of, having to stop what the Patriots are going to want to do offensively. They're very vital in terms of that. So, I think when you look at it, that's where Littleton comes in. When you look at Mark Barron as well, another tremendous inside linebackers. Those two inside linebackers, Barron and Littleton, I think active early and often on Sunday.
I like the Barron one a little more because it's lower at 5.5, right?
Yeah, it
is. Littleton's a lot at 9, but I know he's involved in it all the time. But I like it. I'm going to tail it. I'll jump on the Mark Barron prop at 5.5.
Yeah, no, I like them both. Yeah, I mean, it's splitting hairs. Which one I like more? I like them both, but you can make a good case. Barron's maybe a little bit more value because it's a lower number, but I like them. I think they're both going to hit. I think we go 2-0 with these.
Speaking of hitting, we play the DraftKings every night, but not much. Like we literally entered tonight a $1 contest. So it's $1 to enter. There's 4,756 people in this contest. And I'm pleasantly surprised to look and see that I am in 9th place. Pretty crazy. So I'd win $40, but for $1. So I'd win $40 if it ends now. But the thing is, there's games going on. The question is, how owned are the players right now? But I fucking slayed it tonight. Like Jared Bayless, tonight. Jared Bayless, Minnesota Timberwolves, 51 points. Will Barton, son of a bitch. If I would have left fucking Wiggins in, I would have even had more points. Fuck. Jaylen Brown, 43 points. Darius Miller, 38.5. Nikolai Jokic, 64. Whatever. That's not rocket science. Drew Holiday, 40. This pick, though, this was my own creation. And he was $3,000. Kenrich Williams, 41 fantasy points. That's why I'm so high, because he was only owned by 5% of people. And Jahlil Okafor was really balling, although he only had 26 fantasy points. 318 points. Good enough for 9th place right now. So it'd be nice, though, to hit this. It's only $40, but basically it's like playing the lotto every day, Babano. You want it to pay for itself. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not playing for 9th place. I want to hit it one of these nights and just get lucky and win the tournament. And, maybe win 15K, 3K, who knows, whatever the prize is. But $40 would be good. Give me some money to play with online here, some fantasy going into the Super Bowl. Play some DFS.
Yeah, cash some props, which is what we're trying to do. It'll give you a little more money to try to do that. Exactly. No, you're doing good. You've always had those big nights with the NBA in terms of the DFS standpoint. So, congrats to you. That's
I've always been a good prop better, right?
Yep.
So I've been a good
fantasy and props
one,
sort of merge now. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like there's different ways of being a fantasy player. Like I'm not a numbers analytic fantasy guy, but I have a sense for being a prop better and a gambler, and I'm using the analytics and the optimizers now. So it's sort of a combination of both. It's making me smarter. All right. So what else are you looking at? So you got the James White, nice props, both James Whites, and I agree. And I like your defensive ones. I like the Mark Barron one a little bit more. Mark Barron's a real baller. You're right. He's everywhere, that guy. But anything else you're looking at?
Well, when we look at the Rams,
you don't have to give away everything you got, but
no, let's do it. I don't give a shit. I like giving stuff away to you and everybody here. It's no problem. Robert Woods is a guy I think is going to have a nice day here. Because you look at what the Rams, I think, are going to do here. I think Gurley and Anderson, they're never, ever going to be out of the equation. Sean McVay is never, ever going to say, we're going to stop running the football. They will always be. I don't want to really guess as to what they're going to do between Gurley and Anderson. Everything I've heard is that Gurley's practiced well this week. He's looked good. I think he's going to be a big part of the game again. But I still don't want to get involved in that guessing game with who's going to be more impactful running back wise with the Rams, Anderson or Gurley. I'm staying out of that. From a receiving standpoint, I'm convinced Bill Belichick, because of the guy he is, the kind of coach I think he is. Brandon Cooks used to play with the Patriots. There's no fucking way we're going to let him, just terrorize our defense. No way. We're going to put our best corner on him, which you would think, McCourty. Put it on him.
Gilmore's going to be on Cooks.
Or Gilmore on Cooks. Yeah, Gilmore on Cooks. Yeah. Put Gilmore on Cooks, negate him. That's going to open up Woods, because I think, and Woods had a great game against the New Orleans Saints. Woods was involved often for the Rams offensively down the field.
I like Woods too. I like his over 5.5. I gave it in a video I did today, but one concern is, a little bit of a concern is that Gilmore can play Cooks one-on-one. And then they could double team Woods. Sort of, not fully double team him, but they could have a DB, they a linebacker, because, and also I think they're going to be more concerned. I still think he gets there because he's so good. You know what I mean? I think he'll get open, and he gets open all the time. So I agree. I think he's going to go over, but the Rams, Gurley's such an X factor in this game, dude. Because if Gurley can't go, and if he's playing but he's not really effective, and the Pats realize that he's not effective, and if Gilmore is containing Cooks, then Goff's going to have to complete like fucking 15 passes, like the dink and dunk shit down the field. I think that's the approach that the Patriots are going to take. Don't let Goff come up with these big plays. If you look at Goff's numbers, even when they win games and he throws for 2-3 touchdowns, there's a lot of games where he's like 14 to 23 or he's 18 completion, 18 to 26 or something. He doesn't do like a lot of sustained sort of 9-pass drives. He's more of like these bullets down the field, 15, 20-yard lasers, right? And they're big play offense, man. They're not a systematic drive offense. They're more of a big play in chunks offense when Gurley isn't going. So and the thing is, and I agree with your props. I like the prop, but the thing is, the only concern is, and I'm concerned for my own props because I like these props. I like the Woods over. I like the Cooks yards over, not the receptions, but I like the Cooks yards over. I like the Woods receptions over. I really like Josh Reynolds receptions over. But let's say, Todd Gurley is running the hell out of the ball. It's going to make Goff's life easier, but it's going to kill our fucking props a bit. So that's what I'm concerned about.
It is. And that's the mystery upon mysteries of this game is Todd Gurley. How much is he going to be involved? And if he is involved a lot, how effective is he going to be? That's what the big question is, because I'm telling you right now, there's no freaking way, even though I know he had fumbleitis and he turned the ball over and he had dropped some passes as well last week against New Orleans. There's no way he's on the sideline as a scolding point for Sean McVay saying, no, bad Todd Gurley. You dropped some balls. You fumbled the football in our own territory and set up the Saints in the red zone. You're sitting on the bench now because you're playing so poorly. They're not doing that to Todd Gurley. He was not 100% from a health perspective. That's why he was on the sideline. Now the question is he the 2 weeks off now going to be enough to get him back to this Todd Gurley we saw all season? Again, I don't want to get involved in that guessing game. I'm not involved in many Gurley props. I'm not involved in many CJ Anderson props. I don't want to guess.
I am Babano because it's like a stock. Todd Gurley is like Apple stock or something. It's like the ultimate.
You're buying low there. I agree with you there. You're buying
low. Getting at a discount at 16 to 1 to win the MVP, which is crazy. And I'm taking him. I'm going to sprinkle on Todd Gurley to win the MVP. And I'm going to sprinkle on Todd Gurley to score the first touchdown of the game at 7 to 1. It's like an all or nothing deal. And I think they're going to, and especially the first touchdown one, it's good. Because I think they're gonna want to see whether he can play or not early, right? Like the McVay keeps pimping that he's going to be great, he's going to be great. Either he's just saying that or it's a smokescreen. I'm starting to think it might be a smokescreen that he's really not good, and he's just trying to keep the Pats guessing. But Gurley seems to be in a pretty good mood this week. Like if he wasn't, he'd be more sour. He's actually been like one of the funnier Rams, and he's been pretty loose all week. So I'm going to roll the dice that you're going to get a good Todd Gurley, and they're going to give him the ball early to see if he can go. And at 7 to 1, first touchdown of the game, I think he's worth a look at. I tell you what, at 16 to 1, he's too good not to take to win the MVP. A little sprinkle at 16 to 1.
I think, at that price for the MVP, especially if you are a believer in the LA Rams winning the Super Bowl, you got to take something on it. You got to put some kind of little sprinkle on it. It could be pizza money. Who the hell knows? But it's something on it, to at least see he's got the chance.
I don't put pizza money. I'm not going to bet $2 to win 8 to get a pizza.
That's pretty bad
Like
pizza.
$12.
$2 is bad pizza if that's all it is. Yeah.
No, but if it's 16 to 1. What am I going to do? Bet $1 to buy a pizza?
No, risk the amount.
That's the thing about it. Guys were off on you. You never used to say that. Hey, Donnie used to always say, what, McDonald's money, Happy Meal or whatever.
Yeah, that's worse. Jeez.
Now you're talking about pizza money now.
You might as well bet with Monopoly money if you're betting with McDonald's money. Holy shit.
Well, the McDonald's is the same price of pizza. McDonald's is like $12, $13 now. You go there and you get the full meal.
Yeah, they're like every other fast food chain. Tim Hortons, McDonald's. We got everything under the sun now in the menu. What happened to just burgers and fries at McDonald's? What happened to just donuts and coffee at Tim Hortons? No, got everything now. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I like Robert Woods more over receptions than receiving yards. And for many of the reasons you stated, because Woods might be more of an intermediate than a deep ball guy in this game, based on the way the Patriots play. So this is another one, like the White prop. I prefer receptions with Woods than over receiving yards. But do you catch my drift with Tim Hortons and McDonald's? What happened? You used to be great at donuts and coffee, Tim Hortons. But now you got so much shit on your menu, you're only average with donuts and coffee now. McDonald's, you used to have, really sink your teeth into, burgers and French fries and getting that right. But no, you got all kinds of other shit that you pile on the menu, and now you're half-assed with your signature.
I don't know if you've been to McDonald's. McDonald's actually gotten back to, they're getting back to their roots. Like it's less, they've got less, at least here in the States, I know, like there's less sort of that stuff. It doesn't work. People want they're going to McDonald's for what they want. McDonald's has done better the last few years. They've improved the quality. Like people called out their nuggets too much and shit. You know what I mean? So it's like they made them better.
Yeah. You know why they made them better? Because they're not sitting under the fucking fryer for 30 minutes, just sitting there waiting to give someone. They end up being ice cold.
Look, I go to a McDonald's that's in it's like crackheads and junkies and shit on 8th Avenue. I don't go there all the time. I'll go there like once a week or something in the morning. I get the smoothie there. It's pretty good. And the breakfast is kind of lame. It's not that good. Like I'd rather, there's been a few times I've gotten a breakfast because I got their smoothie. But even the pancakes, not worth it. It's not that cheap. The McDonald's breakfast and a smoothie is like $8. And there's a place called Al's near my studio. Great breakfast, $4.75. You know what I mean? You get fucking ton of eggs, big bacon, shit, like hash brown. You know what I mean? It's like the big or home fries. Traditional breakfast for like $4.75. It's just cheaper. Like I said, McDonald's isn't that cheap anymore. But anyways.
I was like, yeah, there's a place in Dundas, Petula Restaurant. Fantastic. Sunday brunch is like $8. And you get get everything you want with it. You get multiple portions too. Fantastic. Great value.
Good deal. All right. So you got the defensive props. You're going Robert Woods over the receptions. Yeah, because Woods is going to be all underneath stuff. Well, not just underneath. I mean, he's not a dink and dunk guy, but he's more underneath than Cooks is. That's why I got Cooks over yards, because I think Cooks will have a big game still, even though the Patriots are going to be up his ass all night. But he might not have 6 catches. You know what I mean? He might have 4 catches for like 82 yards. And, he might have a punt return for a big play. Or he might have a reverse sweep or a handoff or a wildcat. Like they usually, they do get the ball in Cook's hands in weird ways sometimes. And they've done it. Paul Bovey brought it up today too. They also ran a reverse with Josh Reynolds last week too. He was another one that carried the football. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm going over with Robert Woods. I already gave it to people.
Yeah, we're definitely like that one. No doubt about that. All right, here's one that I couldn't pass up. This is not a player. This is just, hey, this is the new era of NFL football. It's 2019. Coaches are more aggressive. People are going for it on 4th down. People are going for 2 randomly. I like everything. If you, it's labeled differently at different books, but just general theory is any prop that says a 4th down attempt or a 4th down conversion, I'm all over the yes in that. You have to lay some juice with that. I think minus 250, but I love it. Yes, there will be a 4th down, successful 4th down conversion attempt. It's a Super Bowl. Coaches are more adept to go for it now on 4th down. We see it all the time. Even though it's minus 250, I like that a lot. Will there be a 2-point conversion attempt in the game? Is yes, is plus 116 at Pinnacle right now. I'm seeing it right now. Already bet that one. Very good prop. I think you somehow,
it's a bad number though, that one. I don't know what. Yeah, you know what? I'm seeing it here at Bet365. Successful 2-point conversion. Yes, plus 275.
I don't know that there's actually, I got to mention something. That's the successful 2-point conversion prop. This is 2-point conversion attempt.
Oh, attempt.
That means it can be It can be it can be a successful attempt or a failed attempt. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as there's an attempt, this one cashes, and it's plus 116. Love it. There will be an attempt. I think you will see it at some point from one of these two teams. I think you're going to have a good chance to see a 2-point conversion. And even now, Tomlin's the one guy that recent years, even though it hasn't made any sense to go for 2 in a particular situation, he's gone for it. You don't always get that with McVay or Belichick, but I still think you're going to see. We've seen it repeatedly. The Patriots and the Rams, they've gone for 2. In every situation where it was reasonable to do so. And I think at plus 116, just to have an attempt at a 2-point conversion, it's pretty good value there.
I read about a prop that was, will Tom Brady's first pass be successful or not? Complete or incomplete? And it was plus 180 to the no, but I don't see it anywhere. Like, I read about the prop, but I don't see it. I've been looking at Bet365 here. I don't find it. I didn't see it at Bookmaker either. I don't know if anyone sees it. Let me know. Only because I bring it up because he's 4 for 8 in 8 Super Bowls. So it's a 50-50 chance. I mean, I see the prop. What will the first play of the game be? Will there be here you go. Yeah, well, that's the one you were talking about. Will there be a 2-point conversion attempt? Plus 110, yes. Will there be a lead change in the second half? That's pretty crazy. Like, isn't that free money? Will there be a lead change in the second half? Plus 137. Hard to believe there wouldn't be.
Those ones have most of the time. I know everybody every sharp bettor, it seems, or handicapper that I know, they love the, will unanswered score. Will the team score 3 straight times? Everybody loves the yes in that. That's been a very popular bet.
Yeah, but that's not it. Will there be a lead change in the second half?
In the second half. I think there'd be a better chance at a lead change in the second half than the first half. I'll tell you that. So I'd be more interested in that prop definitely for the second half than the first half. I think first half, one team could dictate the flow.
This one looks like free money, to be honest. Like it's like they're giving it away, which it means it's probably going to lose if I take it, because nothing's that good to be true. But yeah, I really doubt that there's not a lead change in the second half. Like, there's always lead changes in the second half. They go back and forth. That's what these Super Bowls do for the most part. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it's plus 137 for a reason, right? It's the underdog. So, the Super Bowl would be decided by exactly 3 points, plus 350. Yes. A lot of Patriots Super Bowls are decided by 3 points. Like, basically 6 of the 8 of them that Brady has been in. But total net yards, offensive yards, 820.5. That should go. Oh, here it is. Tom Brady, first pass of the game will be complete, minus 250, incomplete, or interception, plus 175. Now, listen, man, I can't give you any – I can't definitively tell you what the hell's going to happen with Tom Brady's first pass, right? But all I can do is I can tell you guys that in 8 Super Bowls that Brady's been in, he's 4 for 8.
That's 50%. There you go.
Yeah, and I'm getting plus 175.
Based on simple math, if a human being can conduct simple math principles, there's value on that plus price as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. I'm glad I found it. I've been looking for it all week. There it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been telling people on every show I've done, oh, yeah, Brady. I couldn't find it, though. I knew it was here somewhere. I've got just so many odd props, like you said, to find. So I finally found it. Yeah,
even Matt can tell you there's value in that.
He can open up. The Patriots have done it before, too, in big games where they'll go deep on the first play of the game. They'll throw a bomb. And Brady's not the greatest deep thrower, so that could be incomplete, could be tipped, good play on defense. I like that. I'm going to roll the dice on that at plus 175.
Yeah, I think you got something with that. Definitely from a math perspective, it makes a lot of sense. There's no question. The one that's interesting to me is it's a way under the radar prop, way under the radar player. But sometimes you got to give a good old-fashioned fullback a little bit of love. James Devlin for the New England Patriots. Don't laugh at this. He's been involved in the playoffs. He's been involved. His rushing and receiving yards number is 1.5, and it's just even money. But minus 110, it's plus 100, I believe, at Pinnacle. I think he could get over that. You know, he's actually
Well,
got
one and a
two,
half. He caught a
one and
nice
a half
pass last week. He caught one ball last week. Nice catch.
for 1 yard, and he had 5 yards rushing against the Chargers in the divisional round. James Devlin as well, the fullback. You know, 1.5, and it's a combined prop. It's not rushing or receiving. It's both. You know, all he's got to get
Especially
total,
if he's involved in one play, essentially.
he can get. I like it. I bet it already. James Devlin over 1.5 rushing and receiving yards. If he's at the 1 yard line, there's a chance they throw it to him. They fake the handoff. They throw it to the fullback, or they could just hand it off up the middle right to him because he's a big guy and he can just push forward, fall forward for a yard. So 1.5. He's got to get to 2 yards or more. I think he can do it. He got to 2 yards or more, by the way, in over half of New England's games this year. So again, it's a prop that I think's got a decent shot there. 1.5. You know, he gained more than 1 yard 8 of 14 games that he was active this season. He's going to be active for this game. So from that standpoint, I think it's got a good chance.
I can't disagree. Here's another one too. Well, both teams have the lead in the first half. Yes is plus 120. That's another good one. Like team gets the ball, scores. Hey, it's 3-0. Fucked. The other team gets the ball, scores. It's 7-3. Right? Like in the first half, there's a lot of leeway early in the game to go back and forth.
Oh,
I
people that like those props last year.
To be honest.
Well, people that like those kind of props last year in the Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl, they were making out like bandits. I mean, they were just they were ecstatic. I mean, it was one of those back and forth Super Bowls throughout start to finish.
Well, for the most part, Urbano, 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls have been that way. The only exception was Carolina and Denver.
Yep.
Like last year was Philadelphia sort of ran away at the end with a better team. Yeah, you could tell they were pulled, but New England had the ball still. They had a chance to tie it.
The Seattle route of Denver too was also lopsided.
Oh, that's right. Seattle route of Denver. Yeah, you're right. Was that in the last 6 years though? I don't know. I said 5-1 last.
Yeah, it might have been longer than that. It was the first time they got to the bowl with Peyton Manning, Denver.
Yeah, I think it was a little longer than 6 years ago. No, it was around 6. It was probably 2013 or so. I think you're right. We're right, whatever. But yeah, generally, look, like, last year 41-33. The year before that, was the Falcons were up 28-3. Patriots came back. Year before that was the Denver Carolina boring one. The year before that was I think it was Seattle and New England. It was a crazy high scoring game. The one where they didn't run the ball on the goal line. Just like I say, on top of my head, for the most part, like these I know the Super Bowl's 5-1 over the last 6, but for the most part, the games have been pretty crazy and sort of back and forth-ish. But all right, well, we'll speak again, Babano, on Friday. It should be. It looks like since the Super Bowl, I won't wimp out. I'll stay at the studio on Friday. We'll do a nice video last Super Bowl hit there. So we'll get your Skype ready for Friday, Babano.
Yeah, we'll definitely hit Skype on the radio for sure. A couple, two more, both interception related, like over 1.5 interceptions in the game. I think you got a chance to get that. Brady showed last week 2 weeks ago against Kansas City. He can throw an interception every now and then. I don't think it's impossible he can't throw one here. If he can throw one against Kansas City, he can throw one against the LA Rams. Goff, certainly, first Super Bowl, big stage for him. He's capable of throwing a pick. Over 1.5 interceptions I like. And the first turnover to be an interception is about minus 130 at Pinnacle. Last I looked, I think it's minus 130. Yes, interception, first turnover of the game instead of a fumble or something else, or safety. Interception minus 130. Again, fumbles. What's the thing with the fumbles? You can always recover your own fumble. That's not the case when you throw an interception. The other team gets it. It's a turnover. And I think you got two quarterbacks that are not going to be completely devoid of maybe making a mistake. So interception to be the first turnover I like, which is about minus 130.
Oh, you should take too, Babano, is I don't like telling people, but people don't really bet it anyways. Won't go up too much. Is Chris Hogan. It's free. It's 2.5 again. It was 2.5 minus 163 at Bet365, and I think it's like 3. I think at Bookmaker it was 3 at like plus 107 or something like that.
I think he's another guy that's had some success in Super Bowls with Brady too. They've gotten him a little bit more.
2 years ago, yeah, in the Atlanta game, yeah, he was one of the big comebacks. He was like the big part of the comeback.
Yep.
And last week in the last game, his prop was 2.5. He didn't catch anything in the first half, and it was a little worrisome. But he ended up with 5 catches. as you stated, in the Super Bowl against the Falcons, he went off, man. He had like 11 catches or 10 catches or something stupid, like a lot. It's only 2.5, 3 again, once again. And the thing with that is, this, like, from the fantasy world, you call it usage, but he's on the field, Babano, for about 80% of the offensive snaps. So, like, Chris Hogan might not be like a star. People are like, oh, Chris Hogan, whatever. But Tom Brady and Belichick trust him. So he's on the field all the time. Like, he's basically, like, he's one of the starting wide receivers. And when you're on the field, if you're going to be like, if Tom Brady throws the ball 48 to 50 times like he does pretty much every Super Bowl, and you're on the field 80% of those snaps, you know, the ball's going to come your way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's criminally underrated, but I don't want to jinx it before the damn game starts. Right? So I don't want to jinx it before the game starts. But I love Chris Hogan to go over 2.5 again.
I can't argue with that. I can't.
Or even 3. You know, if you get it at plus money.
It's a good number. It's a guy with a propensity to get involved in the big Super Bowls in the last couple of years with this Pats offense and with Brady. So that's not a bad thought. What is a bad thought right now is thinking of what USC's doing right now. I mean, I'm increasingly apoplectic watching this. Missed layups left and right for USC, and I've got them here in the late Pac-12 game against Washington. Missed layups. You know, free throws they're missing. These, I feel like every single team that, you know, lately that I've been on in college basketball, they're either shooting a terrible percentage, they're missing layups, they can't hit their free throws. It's just fundamental shit that they're not getting done. Man, it drives you nuts.
I'm on.
Yay, they made a layup. Good. Finally.
I'm on Portland, which is pretty nice. Oh, you know what? They were up by more earlier. They're blowing the lead a little bit, 74-58. Man, Portland Trailblazers, they were literally up by like 30 or something. There's a little. They went on a little bit of run, Utah, but still, Portland's looking all right. And I'm on the over in the Sacramento game, and I'm kicking myself because I like Sacramento minus the 5. I even said it on the radio show, but then I wimped out. I don't know. I only took the over, but I hit the basketball game. I went 1-1. My college picks tonight with Banner. I had Creighton, which was a bad pick. They got messed up.
That's a terrible loss. That's a terrible loss for Creighton, by the way.
Yeah, they're not that good though, Creighton, this year. So
St. John's was falling apart. St. John's was. There's been rumors of internal strife, internal chemistry with that team. They had a bad loss against Georgetown at home on Sunday. They didn't play well at all in that game at MSG. Really embarrassing, actually. Georgetown just dominated them down the stretch, led most of the game. But to see St. John's come back, that's either good for St. John's or really bad for Creighton.
That was a big win for St. John's for their tournament hopes. Like they need to stop the bleeding. But I had a nice other pick. I took Duquesne. Kind of that game was flying under the radar a little bit. So
that's a good team. Keith Dambrot's done a great job with that.
Team at home, right? I didn't see why Rhode Island justified this. This Ram team isn't as good as past years, the Ram teams. So I was like, why is Rhode Island favored at Duquesne? I don't get this. So, you know, whatever. I didn't put a ton of time into research into it. It was sort of, I just sort of went with what I know. And I went 1-1, but hopefully we can close out with some wins. But good stuff with Bano.
Well, before I close,
we'll get you on Friday.
Yeah, before I close out, I know you feel the same way. I'm never usually a big fan of these, television and cable providers and Rogers and your Bells of the world, and Bell in particular, because I've had some issues with them as a customer. They've been penny pinchers. They've been cheap. Their customer service has been deplorable with me at times in the past. I've not been a fan. There's a reason I've switched providers from them. In the past, we've got a bad relationship from that perspective, okay? But I'm going to put that aside for 1 minute and say that the one thing Bell does do right is days like today where they do this Bell Let's Talk Day, where they bring awareness to mental health. That's a good thing that they're doing, to be honest with you. That's good. That's something that needs to be, that needs to be brought up into the public consciousness way more than it is. People bottle shit up, depression, whether they lack confidence, they're not happy, there's something bothering them inside, they don't talk to anybody. I think Bell doing that initiative is a good thing. I think Mike Babcock, Gabe, said it well the other day. I heard a quote from him saying, when you're an athlete, you've got a broken leg or a broken ankle or a torn ACL, everybody knows about it. They see it, they know what's going on. When you're hurting inside and you got an issue internally, and you don't talk about it, you close people off, that's mental health one when that's happened. So you got to avoid that. And that's when bad things can happen, and it can take over your life in a bad and very destructive way. So, kudos to Bell for doing that. Like I say, I'm not a fan of their customer service, but when they do this Let's Talk Day, and it's been a big thing, obviously, all day on social media, on Twitter. So props to them for that. Mental health is a very serious situation. People need to be aware of it. And we need to come up with ways to make people aware of it and try to help people when they're in that kind of situation.
Babano gets serious on the way out. Well said, Babano. Well said. Sounds like Babano would be a good friend to anybody in need. So class act right there. Rightwager.com. Check out Babano for all his final props, his best bets in the hockey over the weekend, the NHL hockey, Super Bowl Sunday, and all that crossover stuff. Great stuff, Babano. Thanks for your time tonight. We'll speak to you on Friday. Absolutely, Gabe. We'll see you on Friday. Good night, everybody. So Babano, nice words from Babano on the way up. Yeah, listen, I'm not, to me, I even tweeted something snarkily about Bell Let's Talk, but I don't want to snark on. I'm not trying to rain on anyone's parade. I just said, look, I saw there's a lot of media types. Like, good example, like that guy, Bruce Arthur, all his tweets, Bell Let's Talk. The guy's the biggest asshole in the world. And that guy probably makes people depressed. Like, he's probably made a lot of people depressed in real life by being a jerk to them. But, he's Mr. Bell Let's Talk, right? But I'm not going to criticize, listen, the awareness, that they raise. I wonder where the money goes. Like, they say they're donating to who? Does it help people? You know what I mean? But who am I to rain on the parade? Well, I'll put it this way, though. They're not asking for money, Sinbad, right? They're donating their own money. And I'm sure, the heart's in the right place. They're donating to some hospital or whatever. But like I said, like people just do hashtags, or you can actually help someone, right? Like, there's people at home that think they somehow help people because, they tweeted all day and they raised 80 cents for something with Bell, but you're better off talking to somebody that's got issues and being there. Hey, listen, I haven't been the happiest recently, too. Everyone battles ups and downs, right? Some people don't. Some people, though, are clinically, it's clinically have depression issues. Where they can't control it. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like, just even it's not, they're not depressed, but like schizophrenia, basically half the homeless people, it's like they didn't choose to be homeless. A lot of people think, why don't you just get a job or whatever? Like, yeah, there's cases where you're going to see some jackass fucking 20-year-old kid that's just fucking lazy or a drug addict or whatever. But for the most part, most people, they're out there because they're fucking nuts, right? And no one helped them ever. So they just ended up going crazy and they can't go to work. Like they, you know what I mean? They think everyone's out to get them or whatever. Like they, you know what I mean? They're talking to themselves and they're not really dangerous. So they're not going to end up in jail or anything, which is not good. There's too many people that are sick in jail as it is. You know, it's a big thing in Canada that, like, the Canadian police, it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing where, like, Toronto's good like that. Like, the Toronto cops, I've seen the Toronto cops, like, they don't fuck with crazy homeless people. Like, if you're drinking and shit, they'll do it, but they can tell when you're mentally ill in Toronto. And they're like, just leave them alone because it's worse if we put them in the system. But it's a fine line, right? Because then you leave, you know, then the streets just become too crazy and it's just, there's too many of them. I don't do it enough personally, but I will talk to like homeless people. I'll talk to crazy people on the street. The crazy is a wrong word. You know what I mean? Sick people, etc. You'd be surprised, even like if a dude, like a homeless guy, you know, says hi to you or something, you don't even give them money if you talk back to them how happy they are, right? Just because they don't really feel human and shit. They're just sort of sitting there, and a lot of people just sort of disdain them. One thing I'll say too is that I think depression is more now. People are more self-analytical now and shit. Yeah, Pelicans cover. And then scrappy teams without stars. He's right. But it's social media too. It isolates people. It's a big problem, like with society. Like birth rates are way down and shit in Japan. In Japan, the birth rate's like at an all-time low. They have like sex robots and shit. It's like fucking, you know, artificial intelligence taking over and shit. You know, chicks fucking have crazy ass demands, so they're all isolated and alone. Fucking people are online bitching about Donald Trump and fucking Kamala Harris and Bernie Sanders all day and fucking outraged about a commercial and an ice cream this and a fucking shampoo and toothpaste commercial. Everyone's mad about everything all the time, right? So no one's really living. We're living online too much. It's a bad era. It's good technology and shit, but it's saved lonely people in a way, but it's also made people lonelier. But it's a deep discussion. All right, so how's our picks doing? Fuck, I should have taken Sacramento. I got Sacramento. I got the over. The in-game total is 238.5, so we're sort of on pace. But the problem is it's a 27-point game. Usually it slows down, but the plus side is, listen, the Atlanta Hawks are used to getting throttled, so it's just another night for them. We're on Portland. I told you on Game Time Decisions, man, I said Portland are just, they don't get any value ever. Like, they don't get respected ever. Like, even though they're always like +1 at home or pick'ems at home in these games. But let's not talk shit too early here, as Utah are showing some fight. It was 45-27. They were up 18 after 1, and they expanded. I think it was they expanded the lead. Like, I looked up, and I was like, oh, look, fuck, Portland are killing them. And then boom. I look up again, and now look, it's only an 11-point game right now. Like, Utah's got the momentum, actually. Like, this is a game, so Portland might blow this. Look, we're 2-1 so far with 2 more going. So we could go 4-1, we could go fucking 3-2, we could go 2-2. The in-game total right now for the Hawks and the Kings is up to 243 though. So let's not call it a win, but that's looking good. And hopefully, boom, Portland just hit a 3. And with that, we wrap it up. We got a big show in the morning. Tune in. It's going to be some crazy shit. And we got great guests, man. Like Marshall Faulk is in studio all program long. Thurman Thomas is like pretty much confirmed for like right off the top at 9:15. So we got 2 Hall of Fame running backs. We got DeMarcus Ware. We got DeMarcus Ware, Thurman Thomas, Marshall Faulk, picks, craziness, and an announcement from Michelle Serpico. Other than that, you're on your own. Later.